Hi guys, Gorst here. This is just going to be a small review of the patch note. My opinion on what the changes are and what I think is going to be good. Normally I don't do these kind of videos, but I've been shitting on GGG for the past 2 to 3 patches. I think 2 patches. They've given us nothing, utter garbage all the time, and now we finally have a minimum effort done, and I'm gonna praise them for that because I want them to keep going in the right direction. And I think that if people are vocal about it, we're going to have more of that type of patches and not what we've got in the previous league, because that was just some bullshit. And so I'm gonna start. There's negative. It's not a perfect patch. Okay, I'm going to start with a positive. They gutted seismic trap, needed to be gutted. Some stuff that needed nerfs got nerfed, but not everything. And I'm going to talk about it after the positives. Right now, like if you're looking at the items they've swapped, it gives you a good idea that they understood what we were saying for years, that everything that's being underused needs to be buffed, and that's what they've done here. The patch note is insanely long for items only. Like it took me forever to read through that. And certain items are going to be, if not build defining, build enabling, and it's just what you need. Some of them are going to be good mid game, some are going to be good early game, and some are going to be good even early late game, but at least they're going to have some use. You're not going to chuck all your uniques down to the vendors like we used to. Now we're actually going to have some use of them for a lot of builds. Like a lot of builds are going to use those new uniques. They also said that they've upped the rarity of those items, so I don't know how accessible they're going to be. But at least now we're probably going to be like excited when a unique drops instead of be like, oh, another piece of shit, and just put it in our bag to vendor later. So props to GGG. This is awesome. I'm not gonna go through the entire changes. I'm trying to make this video really fast and easy to understand because I don't want to spend 20 minutes ranting about every little change. Right now, what I liked is I think I watched other content creator, and I think a lot of people just went through the patch without noticing that a lot of uniques got flat life regen new stats or buff, and they're very significant. Like it's not small. And I think, and I could be wrong here, I'm going to have to test it, but I think it's going to enable hybrid builds for life and energy seal to be back. They used to be completely useless, but now I think if you have a decent amount of flat life regen, you can do something with energy shield and life. It's just that previously the entire game mechanics around life leech and life regen are were based around the amount of life you've got, because the higher the life, the bigger the regen, the bigger the leech, so it would help you to sustain your health and stay alive. But if you, and the numbers of flat amount of life you could get for regen and even life leech were so small that it were useless. Like there was no way you could build around this because it would not keep you alive long enough. But now I've made some calculation, and it's, you can easily get to like 2,000 life regen without a lot of investment. Like two or three uniques that have already have other stats on them are gonna give you like a huge chunk of life regen. And even if you can't build around it, just for leveling, it's going to be great to be able to have, like when you have a small health pool, having 300 life regen is great. Like you're gonna be able to do lab easily, walk into traps, not having to like be super sweaty about trying to kill monsters to get your health back. So just there, it's a great change. A lot of things got buffed. A lot of builds might be able to work now that weren't working before, and I think this is great. For the skills, they've buffed a bunch of stuff. To be honest, I read the patch 2 days ago, so I don't really remember what it was, but I remember that the skills they buffed made sense, and the skills they nerfed made sense. Now, one thing now, I'm gonna go. This is all the positive, okay? I'm not, and like we're gonna have to test a lot of shit. I don't want to speculate about stuff that I'm not certain of. I'm gonna have to test a lot of things. Maybe all those uniques are going to be trash, but from my experience and what I've seen, it's going to be good. It's going to be like I'm going to play this league. I haven't played in the past 3 leagues. If you follow my channel, because there was no change and I was basically playing the same game over and over again. Also, the league mechanics looks fun. Like past leagues mechanics were kind of trashy. They weren't compelling. I didn't want to play it. Now I watched it and it's simple. It doesn't require too much brain power, and it's still adding something new to the game for you to play while you test your new build. So I think it's going to be fun. Now, I do believe, like they've buffed Juggernaut, Chieftain. I'm gonna go into the negative. They've buffed Juggernaut, Chieftain, and of course Trickster. But the one thing I have a problem with is that they didn't buff and Pathfinder a bit. They didn't buff like Gladiator, who's been underused, Guardian, and Hierophant is ever since Spell Totem has been gutted. Hierophant has been underused, and this is I'm gonna go in PoE Ninja here, and this is the easiest way for me to make GGG understand the problem between each patch. You have a tool here that allows you to see what is played and what is not played. And players are not dumb. They know what is strong and what is weak, and what is weak will not get played as much. So when you got skills like Bane or Phase Run or Soul Run got buffed this time, so it's nice. Ice Crash, you know, skills that have 0.1% use. Wild Strike, I haven't seen Elemental Hit, I haven't seen these things used in years. When you have skills at 0%, 0.01 whatever percent of play, you gotta buff them. You gotta add some buff there. Like, it's easy. Righteous Fire didn't get nerfed. I mean, I don't think it's too powerful. I personally like Righteous Fire, and it's overused because it is simple. It's not because it's too strong. It's because it's simple, but it still has a 12% usage of players. So that tells you that something's wrong. You either need to nerf it, which I don't want, but if you would buff other stuff, people would play Righteous Fire more. So that's one thing, like that's the main message I want to send today. You have this amazing tool that has been put into place by a third party that you don't even have to invest any resource in, that will tell you every single week of the league what build, what item, whatever has been used the most and by how many players. This is your gold mine. This is how you know what to nerf and what to buff. You don't even need players' opinion. You have the freaking stat right there. Use it. Like lightning strike did not get nerfed. This is the biggest negative. It's been what, 3 leagues that I've seen lightning strikes being champ of melee skill. This shit needs a nerf, and they've added a lot of lightning. They've added a lot of quality lightning gems to the pool now, so you can bet your ass that there's still gonna be a shit ton of lightning strike people running around. So that's the big negative of the patch note. Like, I don't know how you can make 50 change on unique items, but not do anything about lightning strike. In what dream world do you live in to not see that? That's the biggest negative I've seen. Now, other negatives has been the Minion Change. I am not a big Minion fan, and but people use them a lot at League Start because they are simple. They require small gear, and for new players, some people just wanna no-brain the game and just do something simple, even if it's not the strongest. Because any type of minion you used, meta or not, they're going to be average until you invest a fuck ton of currency in them. Like, you're not going to be able to do all the endgame bosses on a budget minion build. You will be able to do a lot of content easily, but you won't be able to do bosses, every single bosses, until you start spending a shit ton of currency. It's just, it's the nature of the beast right now. Though, use, and there's negative because you lack a lot of clear speed in maps. So they're not all powerful, and they've been gutted. They have been, make no mistakes. Minion builds as a whole have been gutted. Now, the issue is they've added in an item that some of you may or may not know that is named Clay Shaper. All right, and this is one of the dumbest thing I've ever seen because you've gutted every single minion. They've okay for those of you who've never played Minion. One of the king of the last few patches has been Carrion Golem. Why? It is strong, but the main thing is clear is great. And they have an awesome AOE, and they do enough damage to be able to kill bosses relatively easily. Now they've been nerfing Carrion Golems for a lot of time. They've been meta for a bunch of leagues, but now they've added an item that is, I'm guessing, going to be cheap. I might be wrong, but it's going to be cheap, and like they've gotten minions in defensive things, and here this item's going to increase their life by 30%. What the fuck? Right there, it's very strong. But then they've buffed the item damage, and for those of you who don't know Minion, they scale very well with flat damage. And this is an insane amount of flat damage to give a minion. Like, what the fuck have you done? And this is going, they've buffed other golem minions, but like, I'm not sure they're going, like, the bottom line is, you're going to use golems if you really want efficiency, because this item is just so powerful. Like, it's, like, it would have been fine if they didn't nerf everything, but now everything's going to be down the gutter, and you're going to have this thing just dangling in your face. There's, like, it requires testing, but I think, like, as soon as Path of Building is going to be updated, we're going to have the numbers. I know this is going to be broken as fuck. So that's the thing. You know, the other thing is skeletons are going to be permanent now. They might, like, the big negative of skeletons, it was that it used to not work with Convocation. Now it might. So they might have been a use for skeleton other than kill bosses. But again, like, why would you bother with skeletons when you have a freaking killer golem minion thing? Anyway, that was my biggest complaint of this patch. But overall, like, they're going in the right direction. This thing is going to be fun. It might not last 3 months, but you know, we're gonna have fun for the first few weeks for sure. They're going to have new builds to try, new things to try, new items that we haven't seen yet, boosted items. So we're going to have fun this time, but it's still far from perfect. They have a lot of oversight here. I really wish that, like, honestly, I kind of want to give I want to give a shout out here. I'm not popular enough to have my voice heard by any of the GGG devs, but if you're out there, I'd work for free. Just ask me what you can change. I will help you. I mean, honestly, any content creator out there who's worth his salt knows what to buff, what to nerf. Like, it's basic shit. You don't even need my help. Just pick any people who are hardcore playing this game. They will tell you what to buff, what to nerf. It is not hard to code. It is not hard work. You just need to do it. Next patch, got the skills that are top, buff the skills that are bottom. It's very simple, and you do the same thing for items. Worst case scenario, something's too strong, you nerf it the next patch. Easy peasy. One thing's for sure, if a skill gem has a 0% use here, and you don't buff it, it's not going to be better this league, so you gotta do something. It's kind of simple. Alright, so that was my review for the patch notes. I probably missed a bunch of shit. I just wanted to give a shout out to GGG for this time doing a good work. And yeah, I might actually put money in the game this league to promote the good patch. Like, if you want my money, you gotta give me some, good gameplay. I want to have fun. I don't want to play the same game over and over again. You gotta make some changes. So yeah, thank you, and yeah, just enjoy this league.